yeah, so like I said, I thought it might be kind of cool to talk about like my year in review, starting with in January 2022, my hobby journey on Twitch. Really, it pretty much started right at the start of the year, building models, and starting with Warhammer, but then getting into Gunpla and Plamo and Japanese model kits. I had started to stream on Twitch a year prior to that, or even more, but that was mostly just games, and it was you guys might know this already about me, but yeah, that first year of streaming was pretty rough. Not gonna lie, I mostly just was streaming to, like, my brother or Bacon, and then sometime towards the end of the year, which is to say the end of 2021, I was like, let's paint some models, let's paint some Warhammer stuff that I have in my backlog, and that's kind of how we started to stream, and we kind of built uh, my stream around that afterwards, and it was rough. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like, even just the earliest days of streaming and building my kits, it was kind of like a very roughshod production. Scuffed is what the kids say. I was using my iPad I was streaming just from my iPad. I didn't have a proper mount. I didn't have proper lighting. And I had this. What's up, Eddie? Today we're just going to be looking at some. We're going to be looking at some photos over my progress over the year in this hobby. Nice to see you here. So yeah, this is the very first. It's just a first image. This is from January 2nd. This is Lilith Hersperax. It's a model from my backlog. A number of my Warhammer models that you're going to see over the next few pictures are from my backlog. They're anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20 years old, and some are even older that, they were model kits that were made even before I was born, and then I started to paint them. But yeah, I bought this model was given to me as a gift back when I was in high school. It's all metal, and yeah, I was like, let's paint it. Finally, let's get to painting it, and I'm pretty happy with the result. I've been trying to learn how to do non-metallic metal, and this is not the first instance of me trying to use non-metallic metal, but it's one of the it's decent progress, I think. And also, I altered the pose for this model. This isn't how she's normally posed. But yeah, let's just keep on going. And I probably won't say anything about like every single picture, but we'll just kind of go through them. This is another old model kit set. These are Eldar Guardians, and again, these models would have been more than 20 years old. At the time, Games Workshop announced that they were making new Guardian model kits, and that sort of spurred me on to actually paint the older ones, which were at the time the most current ones, if you know what I mean. Like, those were the ones that you could get at the stores, and those were the ones that you would be able to, you were going to use most likely in battle and stuff. But I had them for like more than 20 years. So I was like, God, I should paint them. So I started on those. Eddie, how much have you painted this year? Yeah, I actually took some stats. I'll show you in a bit some of my stats. I measured, I counted all the stuff that I painted. And again, these models would have been from the 80s. And I was like, again, these are Eldar models. Let's paint them. These are metal. Started painting them. And this is another set of models that the two trolls that you see here, these are from Lord of the Rings. I painted those the year before, so that would have been in 2021. But I started to take some photos. I was starting to start to practice taking photos. And the goblins here, I finished those goblins this year. And yeah, this is a whole goblin army, if you can see. It's like 48 goblins or something crazy like that. This is more or less the body, the bulk of an entire goblin army. And again, I did this all this year, and again, these are models that would have been. They came out when the original Lord of the Rings came out, and I never painted them. I just let them sit in a box. And again, I was like, I'm starting to stream model building and painting, so like let's paint these babies up. So yeah, this was around January that I did this. It's crazy, all these goblins. That was a lot. And this is a close-up example of one of the goblins that I painted. You know, it's not like the most detailed paint job, right? But it was good enough. It was good enough. This is a very, very old model kit. It has no grade. It's a no-grade new Gundam. And, you know, around this time, a lot of my friends, my IRL friends, were getting into Gunpla once again. Bacon Beer Can was getting back into it. And I thought, hey, I've got some model kits here. I moved not too long ago, and I brought some model kits, and even more are in storage. But I thought, let's try and open up this thing and see what's inside and build it. But unfortunately, I have to say that it was not a good experience. Inside this box was not the new Gundam, but it was actually the Jagdoga, which was again also a no grade. And it was just in such a bad state of affairs that it really put me off from working on it more. So if I have to say, like, if I had like a fail for the year, it might have been this, because like this was a project that I thought would have been kind of fun to work on, either the new Gundam or the Jagdoga, to bring it back and restore it. But it just wasn't a good experience. So I kind of abandoned that. But this here, see, in January, late January, I picked up my first new model kit. So prior to all of this, I had been painting all my old Warhammer stuff, as you had seen, building and painting stuff that was in my backlog, stuff that I had bought as a kid or a teenager, and I just never got around to. But this is actually the first new Japanese big robot model kit that I had bought. We went to a hobby store, me and Night Trap, and I was pretty hyped. I was pretty hyped to really get into this. That being said, a lot of my friends were getting back into specifically Gunpla, and it just didn't interest me at the time. I felt like the world of Plamo and Japanese model kits and robots had expanded so much more, and I was really excited to see what other kind of model kits that I could get beyond Gundam and beyond Gunpla. So I picked up this from Good Smile Company, an obsolete exoframe, and you guys might remember the progress on this as we go along. And there it is, finally finished after 20 years. These are the Eldar Guardians, and yeah, it was very satisfying finally finishing these kits. I was very happy to finally finish them. And yeah, just in time for the new ones to come out. There's a new kit as of 2021 for these same models. They just look a whole lot better. And maybe I'll get those at some point in time. But again, that was very good. It was very satisfying to finish that. And around my birthday, I picked up this model. Again, this is a model that you'll see as I worked on in the coming months. This is something that I worked on over a long stretch of time. This is Borborgimos from Magic the Gathering, and it's made by WizKids. This is simply a photo of it in its unpainted state, but I've been also playing around with photography, trying to take more interesting photos of my models. Eddie, I remember that's when I started following. Oh, cool. Yeah. So yeah, I've been trying to also get better at taking photographs, and this looks really interesting to me. It almost looks like a CG render or something. And This is the other thing that I bought around the time of my birthday, was a Sosai Shoujo Teien, Ritsuka Saiki. This is kind of the other thing. Again, like all my friends are getting back into Gunpla, specifically Gundams and Gunpla, and I was like, I'm gonna build this other weird robot from another company. I'm gonna get into building this this Masume kit. And yeah, that sort of represents the two tracks maybe that I've kind of been on with this hobby. Was like, yes, I've been also kind of getting back into Gunpla, but also looking at the other things that are out there, including Mecha Masume, and non-Bandai kits. Eddie, I feel like photos is half the battle when showing your work. Takes practice to get photo rights. Depends on what you want to show in the photos. Yeah, I'm trying to get better at it, and you'll see that I've been trying to take better photos, but it's been kind of sporadic, and maybe that can be something that I work on in the new year. Is just making it more of a habit to take better photos of the finished models. And again, this is more Eldar stuff that I had been working on. And if you look closely, there's some scratches and dents and weathering that I've done to this. And that's another kind of theme that I've been sort of exploring in this new era of coming back into the hobby, is getting into weathering and getting into making the models look a little more, I don't know, realistic, I guess. Just trying to bring a bit more realism to the models beyond shading and highlighting, because that's all I would do in the past. And I thought maybe we could try something new. Oh yeah, and then also in March I got to affiliate, which was really cool. I've been streaming for a bit more than a year at that time, and I finally got to affiliate, which is really neat. I was very happy, and getting this email and getting this picture was super satisfying, actually. Yeah, a lot of my close friends that have also been streaming have all become affiliate this year, so that was really neat. This is Winning Fumina, and I tried a new technique here for the first time, which is like sprue goo. And yeah, that's sort of like the before and after. Again, this is something new to me. I would never have tried this in the past. I didn't even know I could do stuff like this. So this is, again, a bit of an evolution for me in terms of like trying out new things. And yeah, and then this is a technique that I would use for a lot of Mecha Masume kits in the going forward. This is the weirdest. This might just be the weirdest kit that I bought this year. It's the nostalgic vending machine udon soba noodles by Hasagawa. It's literally a beige rectangular cube, but I actually ended up doing something kind of fun with this, so we'll see. I got this in April, and yeah, I started to paint the exo frame. Progress on that. And again, this is more weathering. This is an example of the weathering that I've been trying and experimenting with, and as well using powder that I made myself, like weathering powder, but simply by crushing pastels. So again, that was just another thing, like learning and trying out new techniques and building on it for the next few models. And I was building the base for this, and I made my own bricks out of clay, which was probably the least efficient way of going about this. I definitely could have, and I think it was recommended to me by Mojo, friend of the channel Mojo, to maybe just make an impression on a flat sheet of clay to look like bricks, but instead I made individual bricks and stacked them up. I made it in a cave with scraps. And that's the end result, which I'm pretty happy with. Pretty happy with. And that was in April. And yeah, here's some photos of the exo frame with the full weathering. Yeah, you can see the weathering. And this is the kind of model where, much like a Maschinenkrieger model, you could really go to town with the weathering and go heavy with it. And the subject matter seemed appropriate for that. This to weather a model to this extent, I don't think that would necessarily be suitable for some Gunpla, maybe. Um, but as far as learning about weathering goes, you could really go to town on something like this. And then every other model that I've made since, I've been kind of scaling back the weathering more and more to suit the project, with this being the heaviest and then getting lighter and lighter. And yeah. This kit also came with human figures, but I did not use them. I had a plan to have them figure into the scene in some way, but I just was feeling lazy, to be honest. And here's some progress on Borborgimos. Finally started painting it around May, so I bought it in February. I bought this model kit in February and only started to paint it in May, just to give you an example of the kind of buffer in terms of like when I buy a model and when I start working on it. There's like a couple of months in between. But yeah, this is like sort of just laying down the basic skin tone values and the shading, and it's not very smooth here, but the purpose of this is really to just get a sense of the light and dark as we move on. And also the vending machine, as you can see here, that I posted about, I showed you earlier. This is the noodles that are in the vending machine. These are all sculpted details that they have a sticker. You could put a sticker on top of all of this, but I was like, screw that, let's actually just paint it all. And this is like so small, all these little details of the little fish cake and the noodles, and then I added extra depth to it by putting some clear coat. I'm pretty happy with that, although there are little bubbles, but I mean, that's okay. And here's the completed vending machine. Damn, bruh. Are you taking notes, Carmi? This is all for the test. Just kidding. That would be so lame of me if I gave you guys a test. But yeah, here's the lighting. I put in some lighting into the vending machine. We were asked about this. I was asked about this earlier. But yeah, a very simple mod to do, but I really, really like the results. And it's just really comfy looking too. It's a very comfy looking thing. And again, it's a rather mundane project. You know, it's just a vending machine, but adding the lights really kind of makes it look cool, I think. I'm very happy with this. Uh-oh, this is the desk. Does give off a vibe. So here's the desk, guys. You guys might know about the desk. This is for the Sosai Shoujo Teian line. And I guess between the vending machine and the desk, I did have this period of time where I was getting really into the mundane things, I suppose, like things like a vending machine and a desk. And to be honest, I kind of want more stuff like this, because I think it's just fun for your Mecha Musume models, for your dollies. It's just fun for your dollies. There it is. That's the finished desk. And yeah, you can see the wood grain. I added several more layers of wood grain, the same kind of technique that you guys have seen in the clip, to get this effect. And yeah, pretty happy with that. And that's how it looks with all the books and stuff and all the other accessories. The books themselves, I added nail art stickers. Yeah, some of you might know about like nail art stickers. I thought they might look good to go on top of the books, and yeah, I was pretty happy with how that turned out. Gengar. This is not even painted. I do have it fully painted, but I don't think I have the picture. Looks so good though. Thank you, Carmi. Yeah, I don't have a picture of the completed painted Gengar, but yeah, that's Gengar. I got 100 followers, which was cool. And I think we're at 200 something now, which is really neat. Yes, and here is Borborgimos. We're really making progress with it at this point. The model is more or less fully painted at this point, which was a whole ordeal in and of itself. But now we're working on the base, as you can see, and we're using cork to kind of build up from the rock. This rock here is part of the model, and I added cork to kind of extend it, and the idea was to kind of create like a water effect down here. And the base itself was like a project that took a month in itself, and it costed more than the model too. The model was like 16 bucks or something, $20. All the materials that I bought for the base like exceeded that. And there's a little Borborgimos, little cartoony Barborgimos. And yeah, here's an example of the finished base, incorporating the snow and the water and the ice and all of that stuff. Which, yeah, this, like I said, it took a while, and it's not perfect, mind you. Like, it's kind of uneven. If you look here, it does look a little bulging and uneven, but I was very happy with this as like my first real attempt at that. And yeah, some close-ups of the... It's Vanilla! What's up, Vanilla? How you doing? We're just having a year-end review of my year streaming in the hobby world, looking at all the things that I made. And you might remember that the giant here, Vanilla. Yeah, that's a close-up of the axe. And further progress on the base. Where are your hands? Ah, where's my hands? The feet. The feet. There's some feets. I don't have the hands here, but there's the feets. Yeah. Oh, and then, yeah, I made a little Lego man of myself before I took my trip to the Atlantic Canada. And I do have a separate video where I kind of go over my entire trip, so I don't really want to go over it, but I did see whales. We went whale watching. It's kind of like the highlight of the trip, and it was just a really special thing for me, and it was... I'm honestly never gonna forget seeing whales. It was like, so I kind of got emotional actually seeing these whales. I love whales; they're so cool. And when I got back home, I started to work on my Maydroid Chloe model with the golden vacuum. This whole vacuum here is it's painted gold, but I used multiple kinds of gold paint as well as ink to kind of create the sort of contrast, rather than simply just painting it a flat gold. More in the way that I might paint like a Warhammer model. And I'm pretty happy with the results. I think that at the end of the day, I probably could have gotten away with simply just painting it gold, like a flat gold, and just called it a day. That would have looked really shiny. But the way it is now, it's kind of more of like a, I don't know, kind of like a bit of an antique. It looks like an antique vacuum. Antique golden vacuum. Again, it's a little bit out of order, but this is an example of the tests that I did for my resin pour on the base, creating the water effect. And this is a test on creating a convincing sort of snow feeling for a base, which I'm pretty happy with. Again, this is like resin with blue ink to tint it, you know, that sort of deep blue, and then I used snow effects, and then I scratched the surface to create like that kind of scuffed, scratchy surface of ice. Yeah, so pretty happy with that. How you doing, Vanilla, by the way, and happy holidays to you. Don't think I saw you prior to Christmas, but yeah, I hope you're having a good holiday. We've got New Year's to look forward to. And here's the completed Ritsuka Saiki. This is an example, again, where I'm trying to get better with photography, and I'm pretty happy with the colors and the lighting and everything. I'm using like 3 or 4 lights to kind of set this up, as well as an LED light. And yeah, I'm very happy with how this turned out. And again, it's something that I want to practice more with. I want to get better at taking photos and all of that stuff, and making really nice photos. But yeah, and again, more examples. Here's like the sort of using the Ritsuka model with the desk that you guys have seen to kind of create like a little scene. And again, pretty happy with how all that turned out. The base. Here's like more of a finished photo, again, using I think at this point we bought a photo booth. So cute, thank you. Love that character, so cute. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that was my first Mecha Masume model. But yeah, this again is an example of like just trying to get better at taking photos, right? As you guys had mentioned earlier, it's kind of like half the battle, right? Eddie said, and not slide in sort of conveying like your intentions with your model and showing off your model in the best light. I feel like too often we just snap a picture of the model on a desk with shitty lighting, and it kind of does a disservice to your model, right? I got you. Let's take a beverage. And yeah, at this point, I think we bought a photo booth. So yeah, the photos. Some of these photos are taken with the photo booth, which helped a lot for sure. Wow! But thanks, Vanilla. These pics are really nice. Thank you, thank you. In hindsight, I feel like I could have put a lot more snow. The snow here kind of feels like early winter, but like now that I'm living in real ass winter, Canadian winter, I feel like I could have just slapped on a whole lot more snow. Not so that I'm out here ready to send people in the community a bunch of color wheels too, so people can learn how to paint. Oh shit. And yeah, here in August, I bought the Dark Souls expansion pack that had a bunch of models in it, and I started to work on Xanthos King Jeremiah. This is part of an ongoing project where I'm painting little mini dioramas. Oh, there's the Spinatia. And again, another example of taking what I would call like more involved photos, like just trying to put more effort in taking photos. Again, I bought some background paper just from the dollar store, some crafting paper and stuff, to get something really more interesting. And if you can see here, there's like a bit of green. That's again because I have like a LED light, kind of just introducing a bit of different light, just so that it's not a flat kind of white light, and that kind of complements the green power aura here, as well as like reflecting off of the metallic gold background. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this photo. This is Maydroid Chloe, which I don't think I showed the box for, or my progress, but yeah. There's another Mecha Musume that I picked up. This is the Executioner Bride. She's still a work in progress. I'm still kind of trying to think about how I want to approach this kit. Not even that they're bad painters, just some people need to learn about color science. Yeah, it's a funny thing, the whole idea of color theory, because on the one hand, it can be kind of involved, and it can be kind of like, it can be a science, as you said. But at the other end, if you just keep it simple, and you just kind of go by a couple of rules to go by, it's not so bad. It doesn't have to be as arcane as some people make it out to be. And another Maydroid Chloe picture, again very similar with the background, but just experimenting with dramatic lighting and LEDs once again. And yeah, like these are the kind of photos that I want to try and get better at. And yeah, it's just a way of like highlighting your model and really expressing all the charm point, as they say. Enhance the charm point of your models. And also, there's the effects parts there. Again, the sort of like swooshing, dashing kind of thing. I really like effects parts. It's kind of underrated. I feel like it's not a lot of people are into that, or they just kind of forget about it, but it's fun, and it can really enhance your photography. +5 to charisma. Also, around September, I was starting to do some painting. This was specifically for the Dark Souls project, the mini diorama, but that's something that I want to do more of in 2023, and is do art and illustration and the cubes. Yeah, the cubes, man, the cubes. I think that I would like to talk more about my illustration and art. I don't really want to talk about it in the context of of what I'm doing right now, going over the hobby stuff. But it's like the other part of me. It's kind of important, and yeah, we should talk about that at some point in time. Haro, you guys know Haro. This is the basic build for Haro, and this is the 35 Gotchanen, my first Maschinen Krieger model kit. After so long being a fan of Maschinen Krieger but never actually buying any models from them, I finally had an opportunity to pick up these small little gotcha model kits of them, and they were pretty fun. They're pretty cool. And for as small as these models are, they're actually pretty involved. This is just simply one model, and look how much stuff is involved for that one. And here's a look at the first Dark Souls model inside the little mini diorama. Yeah, and that's the background that I painted. And yeah, this is I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. And yeah, there's going to be more in the future. 5 more to be precise. And here we are painting the Maschinen Krieger gotcha kits, adding more weathering. Again, this is an example of getting into weathering. You guys had seen that very early on at the start of the year with my Eldar models for Warhammer. I was experimenting and learning about weathering, and here we are practicing it even more, weathering the Maschinen Krieger models. Joe, so cool. Oh, thank you. Notslide, have you done the Gundam artifact yet? Yeah, I built it and I sprayed it, but I haven't painted it yet. And I think that might actually be the first project of 2023. The first painting project. It just very well might be. I want to get more, to be honest. There's the basic build of the Spinatia, which you guys will see later. This is October 1st, and I hadn't yet come up with an idea for a Halloween build. I somehow got in my head that I wanted to make a Halloween-themed build, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do for it, but as you'll see, we kind of figure it out. I also, around this time, I got Lulus from the 30-Minute Sisters line, and I still don't have a concrete idea on what I want to do for this model just yet. So she's kind of just built, but not like painted or customized or anything like that. So I'm still thinking, but I really enjoy this model. And again, playing with the FX parts, this was the first hint at what I wanted to do for my October Halloween build. So between buying it and 4 days later, I finally figured out what I wanted to do. Yeah, this is the finished example of the Maschinen Krieger kit. Yeah, pretty happy with it, and I put it on a base. Added some reddish looking sand and dirt like they're on Mars. And yeah, I was pretty happy with how these turned out. And I really do love the Maschinen Krieger aesthetic, and I would buy another model kit. There's the artifact, by the way. Gotta start painting it. Tank. Got this tiny little tank, unpainted. Yeah, I would go on to buy a big boy Maschinen Krieger kit, and that's again another project that I want to work on in 2023. Start painting this for real, and I think it's going to be really fun, to be honest. And yeah, there's the Witch. You guys probably remember the Witch project. It's sort of my October Halloween build. And yeah, I was kind of pushing things a lot in terms of my own skill set. I was kit bashing for the first time. I bought many different model kits, or rather expansion kits from the 30-minute missions line to kind of add on. I made the hat and the cat and added waist parts and this whole witch's broom. And yeah, just a number of adjustments and painting it. This was a month-long project, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I definitely tried to push myself and to get this done in a timely fashion and do techniques that I'm not very familiar with. There was even a bit of plot plating right here. But yeah, the end result was pretty good. Pretty happy with it. There's a up close of the cat droid. um, yeah, very happy with how that turned out. Some more photos. And again, this is an example of trying to take a more, oh yeah, and Carmi gave me the idea for a cat familiar. But yeah, this is an example of trying to just put more effort into taking my photos, right? I bought I bought these little pumpkin things for the express purpose of taking photos like this. So I might have to make more Halloween themed stuff, just so I get more use out of all the extra stuff that I bought. Joe, love that chef's kiss. Thank you so much, Joe. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I put a lot of effort into this, and that goes with the photos too. You know, I wanted to put a more effort into taking good photos as well. Starting on my machining creator kit. Again, this is another example of kind of pushing myself and trying out something new within the hobby, and kind of evolving with every kit, you know, like every project, trying to do at least something a little different. And working with this machining creator kit from Hasegawa, is it Hasegawa? Was different. It was really, really different. Like, it's not a push fit model. It's not a click fit model. You really have to just glue every single part down, and you have to really think about the alignment of things. But it was a very fun experience. It's not a model that I've finished just yet, but I'm looking forward to working on it more. I painted some rocks. Something that I didn't account for when I was looking at all of the things that I had done this year, I didn't really count the effects parts, but I bought a number of effects parts kits. I bought a number of extra accessory parts, but this is an example of rocks, literal rocks that came with the kit. They were just flat brown, but I decided to paint them to look like more like rocks, I guess. When I was doing this on stream, I was kind of just laughing the whole time because it was so mundane painting rocks. I don't know. It's funny. And yeah, around this time in November, I went back to the big city, went back to Toronto. I met up with an old friend of mine who we used to play Warhammer together. We used to collect and play Warhammer 40K together. But you know, he's a normie. He's a grown ass man, so he wasn't really into this stuff anymore. But I'm a underdeveloped man child, so I was like, yes, I will take those things. Give me your little metal and plastic toys of army men. So yeah, shout out to Mr. J. We'll call him Mr. J. Thank you so much for giving me your stuff. And it was kind of one of those things where I felt a little emotional getting all this stuff, because this is, I don't have too many pictures of them in this slide showing the models themselves. But these are things that I remember going to his house and seeing and looking at them and being in awe of this model and that model, you know, because he was a good painter. I'm not gonna lie, he was a good painter. And now they're in my care, which is really neat. Oh yeah, bought the Gym Sniper K9, a model that I was looking forward to for many years. This is a model that I've been looking for and I couldn't find, or if I did see it, it just didn't line up for me in terms of like having like the money for it. But finally everything lined up, and I finally managed to get the Gym Sniper K9 from Gundam Build Fighters. So yeah, very happy to have that now. And the same day I bought this too, which is now the biggest model kit that I own, and it's in the closet. This is also a 2023 build. Early 2023. We'll get to this, guys. Ranka Lee from VFG Girls. Another skill that I'm trying to practice. Another new technique here with the machining creator kit is creating the look of cast steel on the surface of the model, which I do have some videos about and I talked about earlier, but it's a process where you're going to use cement glue to create this textured look. And yeah, I'm very excited to paint it now. It's very cool looking. Yeah, of course, you know, I can't go too long without painting a miniature, like a small miniature, not a big model kit. But yeah, this is the Mimic from Dungeons and Dragons. The Mimic is one of my favorite monsters of all time. So it was fun to paint this model. And Haro, yeah, so I bought Haro in the summer, and now I'm finally starting to paint it. And again, we're using chipping and rusting and weathering to really get that look. Initially, I wanted to make it orange. I was thinking it could be orange, but then I pivoted and I went with pink, which I'm happy with, actually. Oh. Yeah, and Haro is pretty much done, although I haven't taken any really good final photos of it as of yet. But yeah, again, just experimenting with weather and rusting and stains and stuff like that to build up the level of detail and stuff. Very happy with how that turned out. And also, I used some Machine & Krieger extra parts, as you can see here. All these little bolts and studs and this thing. Those are from Machine & Krieger, actually. And the stickers as well, or rather the decals, which you can't really see, but those are from another kit. Some plans for a diorama. This is the Gym Sniper K9. This is like the main reason why I wanted this kit. The dog, the robot dog, and the army guys. Oh yeah, I painted these pumpkins. So now we're into December. This is like the last month of the year, and I still was picking up kits, even though I had told Bacon that I wasn't really gonna buy any more kits until the new year or until Christmas. I still ended up buying kits because there was a sale. There was this ding and dent sale at my local hobby store, so I picked up Dark Magician Girl. And yeah, we got the ball very early on too, on December 2nd. Very happy to pick up that one. And of course, you guys know we're currently in hashtag Gunpla ball drop very soon. Hope everyone's having a good time building their ball. Oh yeah, and we came up with the idea for the ball drop, as you can see here. And I'm so happy that everyone has gotten on board with it, and they're having fun and exploring what you can do with your models. And it's just fun seeing what everyone is doing. Do you know what I mean? Exemplar, the ball drop, woo! Yeah, it's really fun seeing what everyone's been doing and working on, and I think it's going to be great. And there's another example of Mildred, the next Dark Souls model that will have a diorama, as you guys had seen earlier. Oh yeah, there's my Twitch recap stats. Is this for B? Oh no, this is the broadcast. Yeah, that's how many times I've broadcasted. Yeah, well, I don't want to linger on that too much, but yeah, it was a good year. I felt like I grew a little bit. You know, I achieved affiliate, and yeah, we grew, and it was just good. It was good. I don't want to linger on that too much, be a sap, but yeah. Here's the general idea for my ball. As you can see, it's the Life Aquatic. Hashtag Gunpla ball drop, hell yeah. The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, Wes Anderson. And this actually kind of turned out pretty well. Like, even look at the pose here. It's almost the same. It just sort of worked out that way. Isn't that crazy? And yeah, that's the ball right there. It's practically finished in terms of the basic colors. I have to now apply some weathering, which I'll do over the next few days, and we'll get that done, guys. But here's some stats. Eddie had asked previously how many models did I paint this year. I did take count of my stats. Some things to note. So yeah, 2022 stats for nerds. Models completed, models unfinished, and the backlog. So models completed, that's going to be a model that I've painted, and I've built, and I've painted, and I've clear coated, and I've taken, like, you know, the nice final finished photos of them. That's what I've counted. And I also want to note that something like the 48 goblins from earlier in the year, like that goblin army, I counted that as just one. right? Rather than 48. Otherwise, the number would be crazy, right? So that's just considered one, and then like all those Eldar models, I'll just consider that one. So that's 21 completed models. And yeah, that would also include things like the Witch from Halloween and Borborgimos. So that's not bad, to be honest. Models unfinished. That's going to be models where I've built it, but I haven't painted it yet. Or maybe I've put like a bit of paint, but they're not finished in the sense of something like Borborgimos or the Witch, the Halloween Witch. And those models might be the entry grade models that I had painted, which didn't show up in the photos, unfortunately. But yeah, I have those entry grade models, all three of them. Lelouch from the 30-Minute Sisters and the Machining Krieger kit. Those are all examples of unfinished models, and that's 12. And then as far as backlog goes, just to make a note, that's a backlog of models that I had bought this year but haven't built. I haven't even built them. I haven't painted them. So they're literally just in the box, right? And that's going to be 11. And that includes things like the Rankali, the VFG Girl, and Moon Gundam. I got Moon Gundam. And that number grew to +3 just within the last few days because I got a model kit for Christmas, and then on Boxing Day, or rather yesterday, Boxing Week, I ended up picking up 2 more models. So even within the last few days, that number had grown by 3. And also I wanted to count Old Hammer, like things like the big lot of models that I had gotten from my friend. I just counted that as 1 rather than individually counting every single thing. I just counted that as 1. And I'm not counting anything from my actual real legit backlog, which goes back years and years, and there's like Gundam models from back then. Do you know what I mean? That I had built or partially built. There's a master grade Master Gundam somewhere in storage, unbuilt. There's even more Warhammer stuff. Armies and armies of stuff unbuilt. Still gotta paint that. I didn't want to count that because that number would be something stupid. Like it would be like 200, 300, something dumb. So yeah, just in terms of what I had picked up this year, the backlog 11. So all in all, not bad. Like, I felt like if I had done a major project every month, that would have been pretty good. But we got up to 21. Carmi, very cool. Yeah, thank you. I mean, honestly, looking at all these pictures that I had posted on Instagram and taking note of the date and then counting everything, it was a little bit of a process to do all that. And I had some issues with the naming and the numbering of everything, as well as saving the files properly in a file that was viewable on this computer. I was having some issues with all that, but I really wanted to do it just because it's just a good way to look back at the year and see what we've done and see the progress. Do you know what I mean? And as far as what is in store for next year, I don't think there's anything else, but what's in store for next year, 2023, I think we're just gonna focus on doing the same shit. I think we're just gonna do everything the same, but just more and better. Let's just be better at it. Let's just do a better job of everything. I want to do more Warhammer for sure. I want to do more art. That's another thing that I kind of want to talk about in a future video or a future stream, is talk about the art that I had made this year and plans for making more art and finding some way to kind of blend that together, the world of like my hobby and the world of making art and illustration, and think about ways of combining it. Yeah, I've got a lot of ideas of what I'd like to do for 2023, but at the end of the day, it's probably best to just simply do it rather than talk about it. Do you know what I mean? So let's just do stuff. Let's just make stuff. Let's just do stuff rather than talk about it. That's the plan. So, whoa! But yeah, guys, we're gonna wrap things up now. Thanks again. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. We just did a little bit of everything. We built some models. We built a bit of a model. We had a little recap of my year in the hobby, my first time coming back to the hobby after many, many years, and it's been fun. And the other thing too, I didn't mention this, but the other great thing this year was meeting all of you guys. Sorry to sound like a cornball here, but that might possibly be the best thing about coming back to this hobby and streaming, is just meeting all of you guys and like-minded individuals, and just talking about the hobby, talking about some models, and showing off what we've done and seeing what y'all have done, and working on new things. I know, such a corny guy. Glad to have exactly, Carmi. Same to you. Same to Just Plamo, Not Slide, Joe, Jose, Eddie, of course. How can I forget Eddie? Of course, of course, of course. So I don't want to sound like a cornball. There's still a few more days left before 2023 is upon us. So we will become a cornball then.